The world is full of smiling faces hiding sharp knives. You've been taught to be kind, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to assume the best in everyone. And that teaching has made you a target. Because while you were being trusting, someone was studying you. While you were being open, someone was taking notes. Trust is the most valuable currency you own, and most people hand it out for free to anyone who asks. Those who survive learn to read people before they trust them, and those who read people correctly, they never get blindsided. This is a skill you can't see, but it saves lives, careers, and fortunes. This is the art of reading character. Reading character is born the day someone you trusted completely turns out to be someone you never knew at all. The betrayal cuts deep. Others spend years bitter and broken by it. But you turn that wound into wisdom. You start noticing the patterns. You start seeing the small signals that were there all along, the ones you ignored because you wanted to believe. While others get fooled again and again, you learn to see clearly. While they trust with their hearts, you trust with your eyes. While they hope people will change, you watch what people actually do. Most people judge others by their words. You're about to learn how to judge them by their patterns. But before we dive deep, let me be crystal clear. This knowledge is for protection, not paranoia. The goal isn't to suspect everyone or to live in fear. The goal is to see clearly so you can open your heart to the right people and close your door to the wrong ones. Trust should be earned, not assumed. And let's be honest, you've probably ignored every one of these signs at least once, smiled politely, and then acted surprised later. We've all been there. Today we stop being there. Today you'll discover the 8 behaviors that reveal someone is not safe to trust. Now I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I trust people based on their patterns, not their promises. Now let's unlock the warning signs that most people ignore until it's too late. Number 1, they speak badly about everyone else to you. Pay attention to the person who comes to you with gossip about your mutual friends, the one who tells you secrets that aren't theirs to tell, the one who criticizes others the moment they leave the room. This person feels like an ally. They make you feel special, like you're on the inside, like you're the trusted one. But here is the truth you must understand. If they talk about everyone else to you, they talk about you to everyone else. There is no version of this where you are the exception. The person who gossips has a habit, and habits don't pause for you. When you're in the room, they criticize the people who aren't. When you leave the room, you simply become the next name on the list. You are not their confidant, you are just their current audience, and audiences are interchangeable. Think of it this way. If someone hands you a stolen wallet, the polite thing to do is not to feel honored that they chose you. The wallet is still stolen, and you're now holding it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that we have been given 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we may listen more and speak less. The person who runs others down has reversed that ratio entirely. They are all mouth, and what comes out of that mouth is a preview. Watch how someone talks about their ex-partners, their former employers, their old friends. If everyone in their past is a villain, the common factor isn't everyone else. As the saying goes, if you run into one toxic person in the morning, you met a toxic person. If everyone you meet all day is toxic, you might want to check the mirror. There's a deeper psychology here. People who constantly criticize others are often doing it to manage how you see them. By making everyone else look bad, they make themselves look better by comparison. They're not informing you, they're positioning themselves. Carl Jung observed that everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The chronic critic is not actually describing other people. They are giving you a guided tour of their own insecurities, they just don't know it. The genuine person does the opposite. When you bring up someone else, they either say something fair or they say nothing at all. They don't volunteer other people's failures. They don't collect secrets like trophies. They understand that loyalty isn't something you talk about. It's something you demonstrate by what you refuse to say. So the next time someone leans in close and starts telling you what's wrong with everyone you both know, don't feel flattered. Feel warned. You are watching a live demonstration of how they'll treat you. Number 2, their words and their actions never match. Listen to what people say, but build your trust on what people do. There are individuals who are extraordinary with words. They promise beautifully. They apologize eloquently. They describe the future in vivid, moving detail. and then nothing happens. The promise dissolves. The apology is followed by the exact same behavior. The future they painted never arrives, and when you point this out, they have another beautiful set of words ready to explain it away. This is one of the most dangerous patterns because words are cheap and humans are wired to believe them. When someone says, "I'm sorry," something in us wants to accept it and move on. When someone says, "I'll be there for you," something in us wants to feel safe. The person whose words don't match their actions has learned to exploit this. They've discovered that they can keep getting chances simply by saying the right things, never by doing them. It's the relationship equivalent of someone who keeps reading the menu out loud but never actually orders the food. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you should waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be and simply be one. He was pointing at something essential. Character is not a speech. It is a practice. The person whose words are beautiful and whose actions are empty has fallen in love with the description of being good while skipping the inconvenient part where you actually do it. Anyone can tell you who they are. Few people will show you, and the ones who show you something different than what they tell you are showing you the truth. Here's how you test this without confrontation. Stop listening to the announcement and start watching the follow-through. When someone says they'll do something small, do they do it? When someone makes a tiny commitment, do they honor it? Because the person who breaks small promises is rehearsing how they'll break the big ones. Reliability is not a feeling. It's a track record. And a track record takes time to read, which is exactly why patient people get betrayed less often than trusting people. The hardest part of this principle is emotional. When someone's words are beautiful and their actions are empty, you will be tempted to believe the words because the words are what you want. The words feel like love, the words feel like respect. But love and respect are not what someone says to you. They are what someone does for you consistently, especially when it's inconvenient, especially when no one is watching, especially when there's nothing in it for them. Trust the pattern of behavior. The pattern never lies, even when the person does. Number 3, they only appear when they need something. Map out your relationships and notice the rhythm of contact. There are people in your life who go silent for months. You don't hear from them. They don't check in. They show no curiosity about how you're doing. And then suddenly the message arrives. They need a favor. They need a connection. They need money. They need your time, your skill, your name. And the message is warm, friendly, as if no time has passed at all. This is transactional disguised as relational. A real relationship has a rhythm of give and take that flows in both directions. A transactional connection only flows one way toward them, and it only activates when they have a need. Between needs, you don't exist to them. You're not a person they care about. You're a resource they haven't needed lately. You're basically a human vending machine to them, and they only remember you exist when they're hungry. The reason this is so important to recognize is that these people are often very pleasant. They're not cruel. They're not openly hostile. They're just absent until you're useful. And because they're pleasant when they do appear, you keep giving them the benefit of the doubt. You tell yourself they're just busy. You tell yourself everyone gets caught up in their own lives. But busy people still find 30 seconds to ask how you are. The truly busy person who values you will say, "I've been swamped, but you've been on my mind." The transactional person doesn't say that because you haven't been on their mind. You've been in their contacts list, filed under useful. Seneca, in his letters on the shortness of life, warned that people are careless with their time, and yet it is the one thing they should guard most jealously. He understood that how a person spends their attention reveals what they truly value. Watch the timing of affection. If warmth always arrives precisely when a request is about to follow, that warmth is not warmth. It's packaging. It's the wrapping paper on a transaction, and unfortunately, you're not the gift. You're the shipping address. Now here's the nuanced part. Everyone needs help sometimes, and asking for help is not a sin. The difference is the whole pattern. The genuine person who asks you for a favor is someone who also shows up for you, who also asks about your life, who also gives without being asked. The favor exists inside a real relationship. The transactional person's favor is the relationship. Remove the need and there's nothing left. So when someone resurfaces after a long silence with a smile and a request, don't ask yourself, What do they need? Ask yourself, when was the last time they contacted me and didn't need anything? If you can't remember, you already have your answer. Number 4, they never take responsibility for anything. Watch how a person handles the moment they're clearly wrong. This is one of the most revealing tests of character that exists, and life will give you many chances to observe it. When something goes wrong, when a mistake is made, when a plan fails, where does the person's mind go first? Does it go to what did I do here? What could I have done differently? Or does it immediately go to whose fault is this? Who can I blame? The person who never takes responsibility is dangerous to trust because they have removed themselves from the equation of cause and effect. In their mind, nothing is ever their doing. The job was lost because the boss was unfair. The relationship failed because the other person was crazy. The friendship ended because everyone else changed. They are the eternal victim of a world that conspires against them, and they will never see that the conspiracy has one consistent member. It's quite a remarkable coincidence, really, that the universe keeps personally targeting this one specific person and never once their own choices. Why is this so dangerous for you specifically? Because someday something will go wrong between you and this person. It always does. People are imperfect. Conflict happens. And when it does, watch what occurs. The person who never takes responsibility will not look for a shared solution. They will look for a way to make it entirely your fault. You will become the next unfair boss, the next crazy partner, the next person who changed. Your years of friendship will not protect you because in their story, they are never the problem, which means you must be. Epictetus drew a line that has lasted 2,000 years. He said that some things are within our power and some things are not, and that wisdom begins with knowing the difference. But he added something most people forget. The uneducated person blames others for their misfortunes. The person beginning to learn blames themselves. And the truly wise person blames no one. They simply correct the cause. The person who blames everyone has told you exactly where they are on that path, and it is not the end of it. The genuine person does something that feels almost uncomfortable to watch. They take responsibility quickly, sometimes even for more than their share. They say, I should have communicated better. They say, that was my error. And here's the paradox, this makes them more trustworthy, not less, because someone who can own their failures is someone who can be reasoned with, someone who can grow, someone who will meet you halfway when things go wrong. The person who blames everyone has told you in advance that when the conflict comes, and it will come, you will face it alone, cast as the villain in a story where they are always innocent. Number 5, they get uncomfortable when you succeed. Observe people's faces in the exact moment you share good news. This is a test that happens in a fraction of a second, and it tells you everything. When you tell someone about a promotion, an achievement, a piece of luck that went your way, watch the first thing that crosses their face before they have time to compose it. Genuine people light up. The expression is immediate and warm. Then there are the others. There's a flicker, a delay. The smile arrives, but it arrives a half-second late, and it doesn't reach the eyes. Then comes the but. That's great, but don't you think it's a lot of pressure? That's wonderful, but I heard that company has problems. The congratulations exist, technically, but they're wrapped in something cold. This is one of the hardest betrayals to accept, because we expect enemies to resent our success. We don't expect it from the people who call themselves our friends. But the truth is that some people can walk with you through your struggles and cannot walk with you through your victories. Your pain made them feel needed. Your success makes them feel left behind. They were comfortable when you were down at their level or below it. Your rise disturbs the arrangement. There's a brutal piece of wisdom here. It's relatively easy to find people who will support you when you're suffering. Your struggle costs them nothing. In fact, your struggle might even make them feel good about themselves by comparison. The real test of a relationship is not whether someone shows up to your low moments. It's whether they can genuinely celebrate your high ones. Sympathy is common. Shared joy is rare. And shared joy is the truer sign of love. Carl Jung wrote extensively about what he called the shadow, the parts of ourselves we refuse to look at and therefore project onto others. Envy lives almost entirely in the shadow. people rarely admit it, even to themselves. The friend who subtly undermines your wins will never say, "I'm jealous." They'll say they're being realistic. They'll say they're just looking out for you. They'll frame their coldness as concern. But concern warms you. Envy chills you. Learn the difference by how you feel after you talk to them. Do you leave feeling encouraged, or do you leave feeling like you should apologize for doing well? The genuine person in your life is the one who is genuinely happier for your success than they would be for their own in that moment. They don't compete with your good news. They don't audit it. They don't immediately search for the cloud attached to your silver lining. They simply celebrate fully and without reservation because your win does not cost them anything. It actually feels like their win too. Protect the people who can do this. They are rarer than you think, and they are the ones worth trusting with everything. Number 6, they pressure you to decide quickly. Notice anyone who won't let you think. This is a pattern that shows up in business, in friendships, in romance, in every kind of relationship, and it is one of the most reliable warning signs that exists. The honest person, the person with nothing to hide, wants you to think clearly. They want you to take your time. They want you to ask questions, do your research, sleep on it, talk to other people. Why? Because the truth survives examination. The truth doesn't fear a second look. The person you cannot trust does the opposite. They create urgency. This offer ends today. I need an answer right now. If you really cared about me, you wouldn't need time to think. They manufacture a ticking clock because they understand something dark about human psychology. A pressured mind makes worse decisions. When you're rushed, you can't access your full judgment. You can't think through consequences. You can't consult your instincts. You react instead of reason, and reaction is exactly what they want from you. Seneca observed that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, and that fear of loss is one of the great thieves of clear thinking. The person who pressures you understands this perfectly, even if they've never read a word of philosophy. They're not really selling you the offer. They're selling you the fear of missing it. They're renting space in your imagination and charging you panic as the fee. And a mind paying that fee cannot think straight, which is the entire point. Here's the rule that will protect you for the rest of your life. Any decision that is good today is still good after you've slept on it. A genuine opportunity does not evaporate because you took 24 hours to think. A genuine relationship does not collapse because you wanted to consider something carefully. If a decision can only survive when you're rushed, then the rush is the entire strategy, and the decision was never in your favor. So when someone pressures you to commit before you're ready, recognize the move for what it is. The pressure itself is the information. You don't even need to analyze the offer in detail. The fact that they won't let you analyze it tells you most of what you need to know. Your power in that moment is one simple sentence: I need time to think about this. And then watch their reaction. The trustworthy person says, of course, take all the time you need. The dangerous person becomes frustrated because you just unplugged their only weapon, and now they have to actually convince you with reason, which they were hoping to avoid. Number 7, they treat people in service roles badly. Pay close attention to how someone treats people who can do nothing for them. The waiter, the cleaner, the assistant, the driver, the person at the counter. This is perhaps the single most honest window into a person's true character that you will ever get, and most people don't even think to look through it. Here's why this matters so much. The person you're getting to know will be on their best behavior with you. If they want something from you, your friendship, your love, your business, your respect, they will perform. They will be charming, attentive, generous. That performance tells you what they want. It does not tell you who they are. But the person who can do nothing for them, who has no power over them, who they will likely never see again, that person gets the truth. With that person, there is no reason to perform, so the real character comes out. Watch the switch. Watch the person who is warm and delightful with you turn cold and dismissive the second a waiter approaches. Watch the tone change. Watch the contempt flicker through. It's like watching someone change masks mid-sentence, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. That contempt is not gone when they turn back to you. It's just hidden again, behind the performance. You're seeing their actual operating system. The kindness they show you is conditional, a transaction based on your usefulness. The cruelty they show the powerless is unconditional, which means it's real. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that every person he would meet was a fellow human being, sharing in the same reason, the same brief life, the same struggles. He wrote this not because it was easy, but because it was the foundation of character. The person who is gracious to the server, who says thank you to the cleaner, who is patient with the struggling new employee, that person has absorbed something the contemptuous person never will. They understand that dignity is not something you hand out based on rank. The way someone treats a waiter is the way they treat the world when they think the world isn't watching. And here is the warning you must take seriously. The way they treat the powerless today is the way they will treat you the day you lose your usefulness to them. Right now you have something they want, so you get the good version. But circumstances change the day you can no longer do anything for them. The day the friendship stops being convenient, you will meet the version of them that the waiter met. They've already shown you. They gave you a free preview and most people just aren't watching the screen. Number 8, they make you feel like you're the problem for noticing. Be most careful of the person who, when you raise a real concern, makes the concern itself the crime. This is the most sophisticated and most dangerous pattern of all, because it doesn't just hide bad behavior. It attacks your ability to detect bad behavior. It goes after the very instrument you use to protect yourself, your own perception. Here's how it works. You notice something, a broken promise, a lie, a pattern that doesn't add up. You bring it up, calmly, reasonably, and instead of addressing what you noticed, they flip the entire conversation. Suddenly you're too sensitive, you're paranoid, you're insecure, you're always looking for problems, you're attacking them. The original issue, the thing you actually noticed, completely disappears, and now you're defending yourself for having noticed it at all. You walk away apologizing, confused about how you became the villain when you were the one with the legitimate concern. It's an impressive magic trick, really. They made the evidence vanish and made you applaud them for it. This is the pattern that destroys people slowly, because each time it happens, you trust yourself a little less. You start to wonder if you really are too sensitive. You start to second-guess your own memory, your own eyes, your own gut. And once a person has convinced you not to trust your own perception, they can do almost anything, because you've handed them the keys to your reality. You will no longer believe yourself over them. That is total control, and it is achieved without a single raised voice. Carl Jung believed that the healthy mind is one in conscious contact with reality, and that anything which severs a person from their own honest perception is, in the deepest sense, a sickness. The person who makes you doubt what you plainly saw is not helping you grow. They are quietly cutting the wire between you and your own judgment. And a person disconnected from their own judgment is not free. They are operable. They can be steered by whoever holds the narrative. Here is how you protect yourself, and it's a simple principle to remember. A trustworthy person, when you raise a concern, engages with the concern. They might disagree, they might explain, they might even get a little defensive, that's human. But they deal with the actual issue. The untrustworthy person attacks you for raising it. So separate the two reactions in your mind. If someone consistently responds to your concerns by putting you on trial, the response itself is the answer. Your perception is not the problem. Their treatment of your perception is the problem. Hold on to what you noticed. Write it down if you have to. The moment someone needs you to distrust yourself in order to keep trusting them, the trust is already gone. You just haven't admitted it yet. You've just learned the 8 behaviors that reveal someone is not safe to trust. But knowledge without application is worthless. Pick the one warning sign that made you think of a specific person in your life right now. And yes, a face probably appeared in your mind before I even finished the sentence. That's not an accident. That's your own judgment, the one you've been ignoring, finally getting a word in. For the next 7 days, don't accuse anyone, don't confront anyone. Just watch. Observe that person through the lens of what you've learned. Let their patterns speak. You'll be amazed at what becomes visible the moment you start truly looking. But remember what we talked about at the beginning. This is about protection, not paranoia. The goal is not to walk through life suspecting everyone and trusting no one. That's just a different kind of prison and, frankly, an exhausting one. The goal is to see clearly so that you can give your trust deliberately instead of accidentally. Because here's the truth. When you can recognize the people who aren't safe, you finally become free to fully love and trust the people who are. Your guard going up around the wrong people is what lets your guard come down around the right ones. The world has genuine people in it. Loyal friends, honest partners, people whose words match their actions, who celebrate your success, who treat the powerless with kindness, who let you think, who own their mistakes, who show up when they need nothing. These people are real and they are worth everything. But you will never recognize them if you can't tell them apart from the imitations. Discernment isn't the opposite of love. Discernment is what makes real love possible. So the question isn't whether you should trust people, you should. Trust is what makes life worth living. The question is whether you'll trust based on performance, or based on patterns, based on what people say, or based on what people repeatedly do. The Stoics had a phrase for this kind of clear seeing. They called it seeing things as they are, not as we wish them to be. Choose the people who pass the test of time, the test of your success, the test of how they treat the waiter, and let go of the ones who fail it, no matter how charming they are, no matter how long you've known them. If this video changed how you see the people around you, hit that like button. If you want more content about psychology, human behavior, and protecting yourself in a complicated world, subscribe and ring the notification bell. Drop a comment and tell me this. Which of these 8 warning signs have you experienced in your own life? And which one do you wish you had recognized sooner? Your story might be the warning that protects someone else. Until next time, remember, trust is a gift, but it's a gift you're allowed to give carefully. Stay aware, stay open to the right people, and never apologize for protecting your peace.